I started out in this business in about 2009. I've been in the car business all my life. I was a car dealer, Ford Lincoln dealer. As time went on, I've always been interested in the film industry. And so what happened is about 2009, I decided, it's like, what have I been waiting for? I had a couple sons that were going to film school. And so it's like, I'm going to get into this thing and make a couple movies. As a kid, and we go back a long time when I was, started watching TV, watching movies, when we only had, 4 or 5 channels to watch, UHF channels, VHF, really captivated me. And I think one of the things, especially from the horror genre end of it, my grandfather had given me a Famous Monsters magazine back in the early 70s. And so I had started, back then being interested in monster movies. I mean, all that stuff was awesome back in those days.
Our vision is everyone has a story, and everyone wants stories. So we are specifically interested in underserved niches and what kinds of films are going to speak to those niches, what kind of films are going to be uplifting, educational, entertaining for those specific audiences.
I love dealing with people and seeing the resolve they have and the joy they get out of filmmaking. And, most people that are in this business, especially filmmakers, have a deep passion for it. Helping filmmakers attain their dreams of getting their film seen. I mean, ultimately, most filmmakers want people to see their movies. I mean, obviously there's money involved, there's investors, there's a lot of things behind the scenes, but ultimately I do believe most filmmakers, their biggest goal is to have people see their film. And I love to see that, and I love to be part of that with them.
Big studios are all about hitting the biggest, broadest audiences possible. They call them 4-quadrant films. They want huge box office hits. We're not playing in that world. We're an independent studio. We're working with filmmakers who are making films from the heart. They're making films from nerds who are really, really interested in more niche topics, but I feel like we're able to find the films that can connect to, a certain community, a certain audience.
We moved the company here in 2018 because we saw an opportunity to come to a place where, the cost of living was lower, there was more space, more opportunity to build something. Part of our intention of coming here was building something that would keep people in the state, build infrastructure and bring more people to shoot here. The state has a lot to offer. But yeah, I mean, we saw Ohio as an opportunity. Obviously, we're from here, but I was living in Los Angeles. My dad was out, every other week, and we had our companies there and our offices there. And it was just expensive. It was really expensive. And we had these, goals to build something and to produce. And I think last year, 2022 for us was one of the most exciting, biggest years in some ways that the company has ever had. So the fact that Andy and I and Phil and my dad believe that there's something so big that is coming, and that kind of guiding our everyday workflow and what we're putting together. And it's not just about Good Deed. Like it's also like having a macro vision for the whole picture, and the picture is Ohio.
Ohio is really interesting as a place for film production because you don't really have an Ohio industry. What you have is a collection of local industries. So we're halfway between Cleveland and Columbus, and both of those have very different cultures and industries for film. Ashland specifically is a really interesting place for filmmaking because we have access to the really talented crews in both cities. We have access to the state funding that can help bring productions to Ohio. And we also have this really picturesque town that is full of people that are just excited about movies being here.
I'm Ohio born and bred, so I think Ohio is a phenomenal place to do business because I've done business here all my life, and I just wanted to keep business here, hire here, generate revenue here, etc. From a filming standpoint now, even more so after that, Ohio has so many different terrains, different areas, different big cities. I mean, there's farmland, mountainous areas down in the southeast corner of the state, down along West Virginia borderline. All the major cities, Cleveland, one of the oldest cities in the country. So there's a lot to be said about that.
I'd love to see people coming here like they do to Georgia and setting up shops, and creating an industry which for young people like myself when I was in high school didn't have to have now. So when I was in my film classes in 2005 and 6, there was nothing. There was no reason to stay in Ohio. There was just no business here. And at that time it was only you go to New York or do you go to Los Angeles. And I went to Los Angeles. But now it feels like there's enough that's starting to happen that a new generation of kids who is obsessed with video cameras, just like I was, and shooting and have stories to tell, don't have to run off to another city, that they can actually say, oh, cool, I want to go work at Good Deed. Good Deed's doing this.
So I'm Nate Shively. I'm the operations manager here at Good Deed. I've been here for a little over a year. I've always lived in Ohio. I went to Kent State University, went there for film, and I actually was an intern here at Good Deed Entertainment. So I was a Good Deed. I was here in 2019 as an intern. Then after that, I did a couple of years kind of in the commercial world, working on commercials. And then a unique opportunity came back to come back to Good Deed. So I've been here since the end of 2021, and I've loved it. A lot of my friends had to move to LA, New York, Atlanta to find these kind of jobs. And I was considering, moving to one of those markets because I didn't really think that finding a job in film here in Ohio was possible or likely. And luckily here with Good Deed being in Ashland, Ohio, I get to still, stay in my home state, be near all my family, and work in this film world. We really think that here in Ohio, there's a ton of talent to produce high quality films. And also what you get with Ohio is you just get a broad scope of environments, landscapes that, you can make two movies that are shot in Ohio, and they can look completely different from each other in terms of environment. You could drive an hour north and an hour south, and you'll be in completely different environments. That's not something you necessarily get in places like LA or New York. So we really are lucky there, just having so many different awesome locations here in Ohio that we could film at. And just taking advantage of the high quality film schools that are here. We have a lot of young talent that are graduating and really just eager to get on film sets. And that's what we see ourselves here as Good Deed Entertainment, is kind of a workforce training, and also just as a place for young filmmakers to develop. The kind of films that we're producing right now are in a budget range that is enticing to young filmmakers, where they can come on a set and have an early impact. They're not going to be coming on a Good Deed Entertainment set and holding coffee for actors. They're going to be actually helping with lighting, wardrobe, whatever they have an interest in. So that's really the benefit here of working in Ohio.
I would like to show by my work what this nobody has in his heart.
You know where we're going, you drive.
What's cooking?